What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am very excited to share with you a new series that I'm going to be doing on my channel every single month, and that is our monthly income report. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lo and my husband and I are on year 2 of our debt-free journey. We've paid off over $60,000 of debt, but we still have a little over $300,000 to go. In year 1 of our debt-free journey, we put every extra dollar towards debt, but in year 2 we are doing things a little bit differently because our debt-free journey isn't going to be over that quickly, and we did not feel comfortable not saving anything for retirement until all of our debts were paid off. We wanted to start saving for retirement while we're paying off debt. And so when we set our goals for 2021, we set a bunch of different financial goals, some related to debt payoff, some related to savings and emergency fund and retirement savings and all that. And I actually went into a lot of detail about what all of our goals for this year for 2021 are in a separate video, and so I'll link that up here and in the description if you want to go watch that. I'd recommend you watch that video first before you start this series because I go into depth as to how we set all of those goals. But what happened after we set all those goals is it got confusing, because when we were just working on paying off debt and we had like our debt payoff spreadsheet that organized everything, it was really clear where we put our money each month. We had, you know, all of our minimum payments that we paid on all of our debts, and then we had whatever, you know, debt we were focusing on paying off next, and anything extra went towards that debt. But now that we're working on multiple financial goals at once, it's gotten a lot trickier to figure out where our money goes each month. Now, if you're new to my channel and you don't know anything about our financial situation, most of our debt is student loans, and our student loans are so high because I went to law school and my husband got his master's in business, MBA, and so those programs were very expensive. However, they have created opportunities for us to have very high income. So in my 2021 goals video, I said that we were setting a $92,000 goal, and that meant that we were trying to put $92,000 towards savings and debt payoff in 2021. So at the beginning of the year, we looked at everything and we developed a strategy on how we were gonna do this, how much was gonna go towards debt and savings and all of that. But now, in order to track it as we actually execute that plan, I have created a spreadsheet. I'm laughing because I feel like every video I'm talking about a new spreadsheet that I put together, but this one honestly is my favorite spreadsheet of all my spreadsheets, besides maybe my debt payoff tracking spreadsheet. That's like my #1 baby. The original spreadsheet that, you know, we've been through a lot together and will always be my ride or die. But this spreadsheet is a very close second, and I'm so excited to show you guys how I am tracking all of our financial goals this year. So let me jump right into it. Okay, so this is the income tracking spreadsheet that I put together. Now, you can't see all of it on here. You can see here these little arrows, and that's because I do break out our income by paycheck, but I hid that for just privacy because I don't share that with you guys between me and my husband, what we each bring in. And also these arrows up here, there's other months, so I'll show you that for a second. All of these months that need to be filled in, but for purposes of this video, we only really need to see January. So, I've hidden all of these columns so it's just a little easier to read, but so let me just do that again. So January and YTD, which is year to date, is the same, but starting in February, the year to date will be the total of all the preceding months. So you'll see here that I adjusted our goals slightly because when I was setting our 2021 goals, I was assuming total income of $230,000 a year for our households, and we actually set a goal of hitting $250,000 of household income this year. So because I adjusted that, I changed our total savings and debt goals to $100,000 because that would be 40% of our income before taxes, our gross income. So you'll see some adjustments from that 2021 goals video in the spreadsheet, and I'll point those out as well, but I've put little notes here like where I changed things from that video just so I can keep track of it too. Okay, to start off, our income. This is our gross income. Our income before taxes, before insurance, before Social Security, anything comes out of our check. And looking at that, that's a crazy number. This is the highest income month we have ever had in our entire lives, and that was for a couple reasons. One, my husband got a raise. He gets a raise usually annually in January, and so he got his annual raise. We got some end of the year bonus money, and we each get paid every other week, and it just so happened that in January my husband got 3 paychecks, so instead of the normal 2. So between the 2 of us, we had a 5 paycheck month instead of a 4 paycheck month. That's why our income was so high this month. Next month, I think it'll be about $10,000 less. I think it'll be maybe around like $17,000 or $18,000. But this was our highest income month ever, so that was crazy to see. All right, so just to explain to you guys, in the column for the month, we put the amounts that, you know, we received for income and that we paid towards these different goals in the month. And then in the goals column, this is our goal for the year. So this is, you know, what we want the year to date to total to at the end of the year. So for example, our year to date income is $27,491. But for the end of the year, our goal is to hit 250. So we want this year to date to be 250 by the end of December. And then in this column P here, this is the percent of the goal completed. So for the year, you know, we're 11% of the way to that goal because we had a huge income month. If we were exactly on target each month and it was proportional for the 12 months, we would accomplish 8.33% of our goal each month, because 100% divided by 12 is 8.33%. So we need to do about 8% per month to march towards meeting these goals at the end of the month. But part of the reason I created this spreadsheet is because you don't always spread things out exactly evenly, because even us as salaried people, our income changes because we have 3 paycheck months or 5 paycheck months, or bonus money come in, or whatever the case may be, and so it's not always consistent. Also, certain months have expenses that other months don't. So sometimes we have something due, and so we're able to pay less towards certain goals, and so this is a way to kind of keep it all organized. Okay, so starting out with the retirement/savings section. Now we have several goals in this category. The first one is to max out my husband's 401k, which would be $19,500 for the year. So we set his withdrawals at $750 per paycheck, and that will get us to $19,500. If we can't afford that for some reason, we'll have to cut that back. But for right now, that one's automated, and if we just don't touch that election on his paycheck, then we will hit that goal at the end of the year. Now, he did get an extra paycheck this month, but we didn't have, but we only had the withdrawal from 2 paychecks, because I looked at all the paychecks throughout the month, and if we had $750 come out of the first paycheck, then we were gonna be over the $19,500 for the year. I don't know, it's confusing, it doesn't matter. Basically, it's set automatically, and the withdrawals are gonna add up to $19,500 at the end of the year if I did it all correctly. So we'll track it as we go along, which is why I created the spreadsheet. Next is my Roth IRA, and so this is something that's not automated because I have to do the backdoor Roth contribution method, because if your income's over a certain amount, you cannot contribute to a Roth IRA directly. However, you are allowed to contribute to a traditional IRA, then immediately roll it over to a Roth IRA, which is the most ridiculous thing, but it is allowed in the tax code, so that's what we're doing. So I put $500 into my traditional IRA, and then I moved it immediately to my Roth IRA, and that's my plan. Every single month I'm going to put $500, and that will get us to the Roth IRA contribution max for the year, which is $6,000. So this one is exactly on target with 8.33% completed. Next, I have our HSA, and for a family, you can contribute up to $7,200 if you have a high deductible health plan, which I realized we have had for several years and just didn't know about the HSA. And so we are going to fully fund that. Because we had nothing in there, I put $1,800 this month, so that is 25% of the way to our goal, and that is actually invested. I'm not going to get into too much detail about that in this video because I don't want it to get to be way too long, but basically that is invested in stock market, so we don't plan to touch that. But I think I'm going to put about half of the HSA money invested and keep half as cash, so if we need to use it for medical, we have it as an option. I don't know, I'm still deciding on that, but for right now, all of that is invested in like an index fund. Our HSA is through Fidelity. I just looked up where you can open an HSA, and we already had accounts at Fidelity, and Fidelity had one, so I just kept it simple and did it through Fidelity. Next, we have my daughter's 529 plan, and that is also through Fidelity. We opened that several years ago. No, not several years ago. We opened that about a year and a half ago when she was born, and we've put some money into it, plus any money we've received for her as gifts since she was born, we have put into that account. And so our goal for the year between our own money and gifts we receive is to put $2,500. We put $375 in this month because we put $125 of our own money, plus we received some gift money for her, and so that got us to 15% of our goal for the year. And then finally, we want to increase our emergency fund. Now, in my 2021 goals video, I said we wanted to put an extra $2,000 into our emergency fund. I looked at our expenses, and really 1 month of expenses is about $8,000. And that seems really high, but we have a mortgage that's $2,000 a month plus student loans that are $3,000 a month, so that's $5,000 right there. So really realistically, to have a full 3-month emergency fund, which we will grow later when we're debt free, but at least for now, to have that 3 months of emergency savings in place, we need to add $6,000 to our emergency funds. So we have 18 now, we need to get it to 24,000. And so if we increase it by $6,000, we'll get to that 24,000. So instead of just increasing it by 2,000 that I had set in our goals video, I bumped that up to 6,000. So this month we put $1,000 into our emergency fund, and that got us 16.67% of the way to our goal. So you can see here, total for our retirement and savings, we contributed $5,175 in the month of January, and our goal for the year is $41,200, and so we are at 12.56% of our goal. So we're ahead of that 8.33% that we need to be at this month to be on track for our goals. But like I've said, this is a huge income month, so other months will be a little more behind and it'll even out over time, I think. Okay, next, looking at the debt section. If you've been watching my channel for a while, then you kind of already know what's going on here. I also always forget to mention, but if you follow me on Instagram, I post all the payments we're making on our debt as we make them, and just like different stuff about what's going on with our debt and stuff during the month. So if you want more updates in between my monthly debt payoff videos that I post, then make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram right here, and you can see what's going on throughout the month. Okay, so first off, my husband's undergraduate student loans had a balance of about $2,600, and our goal was to pay that off, which we did in January. And so you can see here, we are 100% of the way to that goal, which is super exciting. That debt is paid off, and we're just down to our 2 graduate school student loans. Next is my husband's graduate school loan, which is the loan we're currently targeting. So, but for this section, I just put what the minimum payments are. So it was $962 in January, but it actually just got recalculated and increased to $1,011 a month because we just refinanced recently, and I think the interest, like, how was adjusting, there was some sort of adjustment that the company hadn't done right in setting the minimum payment. So that's gonna go up next month, which is why for the percent of goal completed, it's not quite at that 8.33, but it'll get there because the minimum payment's auto draft. So as long as we've got money in our account, then we will hit that goal and be on track for that throughout the year. Next is my grad school loan, and that is also just, we're paying the minimum payment on that for this whole year. And so that's on auto withdrawal. My minimum payment is $2,033 a month. And so our goal is to make those minimum payments, which will total up to that $24,000. And we are at 8.33% completed. And then finally, for extra payments. Now, in our debt payoff update video, I think I combined this number with this number as our extra payments number. But anyway, so I just put the extra payments that we made to my husband's graduate school loan in this section. So we paid $1,450 towards extra payments. Our goal for the year is to pay just about $20,000 in extra payments towards my husband's graduate school loan, and so we are 7.35% of the way to that goal. So it's a little bit behind for the month, but that's because we got 100% of the way to this goal for his undergraduate loan, and so it had to take from somewhere, so that's why this is a little bit behind, but not by much. So for the month, we paid $7,031 towards debt. You can see here our goal for the year is to pay $58,800 towards debt. Now that's not how much we are planning to pay off, because there's interest. We'll probably pay off closer to $50,000, but this is how much we are putting in payments towards debt. And so we are at 11.96, almost 12% of the way to our debt payment goal for the year. Okay, the other thing that the spreadsheet helps me keep track of is we set a goal to put 40% of our gross income towards debt / savings. So that means that 60% of our income is going towards living expenses. Now, our living expenses do include our mortgage, because I don't include that in our debt payoff because we're not trying to pay it off early. And if we sold our house and didn't have a mortgage, we would have rent anyway. And so I just keep that as part of the 60% of our living expenses. But I do break out taxes just so we can kind of see like real numbers, like how much are we actually living off of versus how much is going towards taxes. So here in the expenses section, you can see that we had $8,492 of expenses. Now that includes our mortgage, like I said, which is $2,000. That also includes sinking funds. So we put money into sinking funds. Some people call them sinking funds. Some people do it like cash envelopes, but it's basically money that you're setting aside for future expenses that you either know are going to need to be paid in the future in a specific amount, or just like a general fund you're contributing to, like a car fund, because you know your car is going to need repairs at some point. So we put about $3,000 into sinking funds in the month of January, and then $2,000 to our mortgage, and the rest was for like utilities and groceries and other expenses that were just normal expenses throughout the month. Just so you can have a kind of a sense of where that money went. And then for taxes that came out of our checks, that was $6,793 in January. So our total expenses were $15,285, including, you know, expenses plus taxes. And our goal is to keep that at $150,000 or less, because that means that the other 100 of our 250 income would have gone towards debt and savings. So for the month, it being at $15,000, it was a little high, but you know, because it's a higher income month again. So that's at 10% of the way to the goal. So we want to make sure we don't go over 100%. We want to keep it at or under 100% of 150,000. And then finally here, I've got the percentages broken out on where our money went this month. So the percent that went towards debt and savings was 44.4% of our gross income, and then the percent that went to expenses was 55.6%. So you can see here our goal is 40% or more going to debt and savings, and 60% or less going to expenses. So we are on track for the month. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is different. I have never done a video like this before. I don't do monthly budgeting videos or show you our budget, because for some reason, like, I don't mind talking about our debt. I don't mind talking about what our income is, all the real numbers for that. But the breakdown of our monthly budget is just something that I feel is really personal, and like how much we spend on, you know, family items, that just doesn't feel like something I want to share. But I do really like being super transparent, so you guys can follow what I'm doing and understand my thinking, and hopefully, you know, use some of my ideas to help you in your own debt payoff or savings journey. So I hope this gives you a good sense of like what our income is, how much is going different places, how we're tracking everything, and all that. As I mentioned, I will be doing this video monthly, so you guys can follow along with our goals each and every month and see if we're able to hit our goals. Obviously, we've set some really big goals for this year, and we are off to a very good start in January. So I feel like we've got some momentum going into the year to keep going with all these goals. But yeah, I'm excited to take you guys along for the ride to see how we do on all of our financial goals in 2021. I do plan on making this spreadsheet available for purchase at some point. Because it's so new, I really like to use and tweak my spreadsheets a lot before I put them on my Etsy shop. And I only have one up there so far, and that was one that I used for like over a year, almost 2 years, before I felt like it was in good enough shape for purchase, but I hope to have this one up in like the next month or so, because I feel like this one is really great how it is, and I don't feel like it needs a lot of tweaking. So yeah, if you guys are tracking multiple financial goals and are interested in using this spreadsheet along with me throughout the year, I will have it up at some point, hopefully in like the next month. But I'm trying to balance my life a little bit more this year and not go so crazy with trying to do YouTube and work and all this other stuff. I'm trying to like spend a little more time with family and focus on quality time and stuff like that. So I'll let you guys know when the spreadsheet is available for purchase if you are interested in using it to track your goals as well. If you have financial goals that you set for 2021, comment down below and let me know how they are going now that we are 1 month into the year. I want to hear how your guys' progress has gone so far this year. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. And if you want to follow along with our debt payoff and financial progress throughout the year, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye!